He's done it!
Throws up the floater.
Oh, astonishing.
Pulls off three-pointer.
We are back with another episode of Off the Record, and I'm your host, Bailey Jackson, joined by my co-host, Lachelle Smith. And as we were talking before the show started, Lachelle sent me one of the funniest tweets I've seen all week. James Franklin was tired of y'all saying he loses the big game, so he decided to mess around in a non-big game and prove y'all wrong. And that's referring to this game against UCLA yesterday. They lost 42-37, I believe was the final score. Let me double check. I want to make sure that my
chat,
it's not
right. It's not funny. It's not funny, chat, but if y'all could have seen me scrolling through Twitter when I seen that and immediately thought of Bailey, I had tears in my eyes on my couch. That was the funniest, like, genuinely the funniest tweet I had seen in a while, because that was, like, genuine. Like, yeah, he's sick and tired of y'all saying he loses the big games. Bet I'm going to lose this game to a team that doesn't even have a win.
Right. Not a single. And that's the funny part. You gave UCLA their first win of the season. The first win of the season. Penn State, you have to be better than that. Yeah, it was comical. Honestly, it was comical. I didn't even get the chance to watch the game. I just really checked in on the score to see how badly it was going. I saw at one point during the third quarter, it was like, I want to say 34-10. I was like, oh, this is not going to end well. It was bad.
They came back.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, it is without a shadow of a doubt, the fact that UCLA gets their first win against Penn State, it's like, hey, like that, Penn State's not going to the college football playoff. If they somehow find themselves in there, I will be stunned.
It's by the grace of God.
Because there's no way I'm ignoring.
Yeah.
I can't ignore that you just lost to UCLA. We could ignore Oregon, maybe.
Yeah.
But UCLA.
But it's like the same conversation last year with Alabama losing to Vanderbilt. It's like, how are you making it to the playoffs with some of those losses under your belt? You can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
You have to win the conference.
Yeah.
They would literally have to win out, because I'm just like, but there's no, if you don't win out, there is no way possible you should find yourself in the CFP. That is a disgrace if the committee did that.
Yeah. And I mean, we've already discussed what their schedule looks like the rest of the season. They still have Ohio State. They still have some decent teams in Indiana and Iowa. Reality of
Indiana's going to beat them.
I think so. I do. I really do. I mean,
they were talking about, now see, Bailey, last week when we talked about this, you were like, well, I want to be realistic. That might, because we were talking about Indiana's schedule.
No. Hear me out. Because I said, I think that they could probably they would probably mess around. I think I said they would probably mess around and lose to a team like Iowa or Indiana, which I didn't come out and directly say that I think Indiana is beating them. However, it kind of implies that there's a chance that it could happen. And I think that, like I said, there's a possibility. Now, did I say, yes, I strongly, wholeheartedly believe Indiana is going to beat Penn State? No, but I implied.
Did them losing to UCLA give you more confidence in Indiana?
Like in the sense that Indiana has a better shot, or like,
yes,
okay,
Indiana has a better.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, a team like UCLA, I would hope. I mean, Indiana's doing better than them this year. Just, I mean, numbers, eye test, all of the above. Yeah, for sure, it definitely gives me hope. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was an off week for Penn State. Who knows? I mean, I'm not going to say.
Nah. Ain't no excuses. Ain't no excuses.
I'm not going to sit here and start speculating.
Yeah.
But
ain't no off week. They lost.
They lost. Yeah, it was bad. The game didn't go how we thought it was going to go. I don't think anybody probably went into that game yesterday and said, oh, yeah, I got UCLA winning this. At the same time, it's one of those. You said what?
Somebody won big money yesterday. Whoever put their money on UCLA.
Yeah. Ooh, they walked away. Wherever you are, if you'd like to buy me a car,
hey,
pay my rent,
talk to me.
Bank account is open. But yeah, no, they probably hit big yesterday because I don't know what the odds were on that one. But yeah, it wasn't a great game. But it wasn't the biggest upset of the weekend either. Though it might have been. It might have been tied with Texas, Florida. I don't know. Because if people think that Florida was going to beat Texas, probably not. Given how Florida's season was going. At the same time, you and I chatted yesterday. You said, "Are we surprised?" Not necessarily. Not necessarily. But outside of that, for college football this weekend, I feel like everything kind of went according to plan, went as expected. As a result, like, we don't have a lot of college football talk. That's kind of what we wanted to touch on today. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into the show. We have some developments in the Kyren Lacy case. Lachelle did a really good job at breaking this down previously, so I'm going to pass it over to you in terms of explaining kind of what has unfolded, what happened initially, just kind of giving the chat a little bit of a history, a backstory, and some of the news that we've seen recently come out about Kyren and, you know, the storyline about his case.
Yeah, so chat, I will say, do your due diligence to go watch the entire 44-minute interview that Matt Ory, who was Kyren Lacy's attorney, has, because again, that's lawyer speak and all of that. So some of the specifics and the technicality we may miss, but the summary of it, we got you. Basically, if you don't know, Kyren Lacy was an LSU football player and kind of was about to go to the draft, was about to get drafted, played with Jaden Daniels, played with Malik Neighbors. And in the wake of all of that happening, right, about 2 days before he announces that he's declaring, he ends up plastered over the news that, you know, he's wanted for negligent homicide and a hit and run, reckless driving, and it killed a former Marine, Mr. Hall, and then 2 were injured, and pretty much ran with that. Now, that was around January 10th of 2025, where I think we all see it on social media, but the accident happened like December 17th. So people were already a little skeptical, like, wait, if this happened in December 17th, why are we hearing about it almost a month later? Then it starts the entire thing. There's a warrant out, all of these things. And a lot of news stations, a lot of big platforms took that as an opportunity to use his celebrations against him, saying that it wasn't shocking and pretty much like, hey, throw the book at him, whatever. And in that moment, you see his NFL dreams kind of start to slip a little bit. You know, there wasn't a due diligence to investigate. We didn't hear about NFL teams trying to investigate more, and it looked like it was looking really bad. Well, you know, a few months go by, things happen, and we get the tragic news that Kyren Lacy had took his own life 2 days before, you know, the grand jury was going to be present to talk about this case. And Matt Ory, his attorney, says at his funeral that he promised Kyren that he would do whatever it took to make sure that the truth comes out. And the truth has came out. It is proven that Kyren Lacy was indeed innocent. We saw the footage of the accident. Kyren Lacy's car is about 72.6 yards away from when the crash actually happened. So he's not even there yet. And he said in terms to Matt Ory that he was a football field away from when this impact happens. In the video, you clearly see the accident happen, and then you see a car stop behind the accident. Then you see the green Charger, which is Kyren Lacy, and he gets out of that lane to go to the other lane because he's trying to avoid the crash. But it was talked about as though of his reckless driving that he caused it, because that is what the woman who actually caused the crash told the troopers at the time. We also see in the body cam footage that the trooper is pretty much heavily suggesting to the gold truck witness that the green Charger did it. And we see on camera the witness say, I don't know anything about a Charger, but the woman behind me caused that wreck, and says that about twice. So from there, you think that should be it, right? Then we learn that the body cam footage is turned off as the witness is writing the written statement. We then see the written statement that pretty much is like, the green Charger did it, came into the wrong lane. I went to check on everyone. Very weird. The handwriting is all odd. Come to find out that the witness did not write that statement. And at the bottom of this statement, where it says witness signature, it says refused. You take that as you want to take it. So basically all the evidence now from the video cam footage, the body cam footage, there's a lot of corrupt things happening in this case. The woman who lied, also on Kyren Lacy, they have her statement as well, where she lies and says, you know, she's eating Funyuns and listening to music and doing all these things, and this green Charger does all this, when it was indeed her. It's sad. It's something that me and Bailey talked about a little before the show. It's like Matt Ory, his attorney, said, it's like you kind of don't get a piece from knowing the truth even though the truth is what we all needed to know. And I think for the reputation and the sanctity of who Kyren Lacy was. And it still sucks though, because he took his life because he felt like it wouldn't have mattered if anyone knew the truth. He felt as though even us knowing this now, life won't matter to me. And it's also sad that Mr. Hall, who actually died in this crash, his family having to deal with this as well. But it's sad. I would encourage you to go watch the interview. I know people have questions. There are things that we're still kind of developing in this story that I'm sure we'll get more clarity on. But, you know, Matt Ory talked about it, that I think Kyren had his mind made up. He talked about the situation of that night. He said, you know, he was pretty much made up that that was what he was going to do. The argument he had with his sister was the sister trying to stop him because she knew what he was going to go off to go do. The police being involved had nothing to do with his behavior more than a welfare check, because that's what you do when you see that someone is threatening to take their life. The shot that he does in the ground is because he was trying to prove to his sister that nobody was going to change his mind and that he wanted his keys to go do that. He didn't want to do it in the home where his brother was and his family. And that is when we hear the news that they find him in the wrecked car and that he has the gunshot wound. So it's a lot to that story. It's really sad. Us knowing the truth is important, but I think it's a conversation for content creators, journalists. You know, let stories develop. Don't pass judgment. Make sure you report it as it is, but leave room for the truth to come out. And remember that, you know, you're innocent until proven guilty. And in this case, Kyren was innocent all along.
Yeah. And it really sucks, like what you said in terms of the weight that this carried on Kyren. You know, you did nothing wrong, and yet you have all of these people slandering your name, judging you, dragging you through the mud. It's affecting your career. It's affecting your life. I mean, it would be hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel, but you know, I can't help but wonder, you know, how dark it got for him to know, despite my innocence, I don't want to be here. I don't want to deal with this anymore. It's like, you did nothing wrong, you know? And that's what makes the situation so much more sad and devastating. I looked into what could possibly be the legal consequence when it comes to the police and the investigators, because I was curious. It's like, at this point, this case has taken a complete 180. It went from pointing the finger at Kyren to now pointing the finger at the police and the investigators, and what type of, I guess, lawsuits, maybe not the best word. I don't know legally what you would go about describing this as, but basically what measures Kyren's family could take. And to my understanding, it seems like this could become almost a federal case, looking at least maybe criminal misconduct, civil rights violations, and then, like I said, federal case of racial and constitutional injustice. Be curious to see how far this goes. And I hope it goes far for the sake of Kyren, for the sake of his family. I'm curious to hear your perspective, being from Louisiana. We talked a little bit before the show. Louisiana police has been corrupt for some time. Can you kind of give the chat a little bit of context into, if you can share your knowledge, what that looks like, what that history has looked like?
I guess you look back at the history, just the South in general. You look at how slavery was in the South, and a lot of those remnants, those feelings are still there, very much still there. And we're talking about down South Louisiana. I'm from North Louisiana, so it's a little bit different in certain cases, but I went to school in Lafayette, which is down South. It's a difference. You feel it, you know it. That's not to villainize Louisiana or any of these police officers, but this is a sentiment that I think a lot of people down South, I'm sure people from Mississippi would say this, and, understanding what it means to be involved with police and understanding that they're not doing their due diligence at times to actually do their job. And I think with this case, when you see the blatant, like you said, corruption of it, it makes you wonder, how is this possible? I think that's where I'm messed up at, because it's one thing to see it and say, man, I want to see how this case plays out. I hope we get the true details of what happened. But then when you get the true details, it's like, wait, we're talking about a forged written statement of a witness now. We're talking about actual footage of you telling a witness who is telling you that the woman behind him did it. And you're like, so the charger, because we're trying to track down the charger. Like, that's the scary part, that it's that easy for that to happen. Very easy for the Louisiana Police Department to say, oh, well, we could do what we want. Who cares about his life? Who cares how he feels? Whatever I said is how it goes. And I think that's the terrifying part. I just think down south as a whole, like, that's a whole history lesson of it all. Because it's a lot embedded in that. A lot of racism, a lot of hatred, a lot of prejudice is rooted in that. And a lot of people, you don't grow up hating people. You have to be taught to hate somebody. You have to be taught those things. No one comes out the womb just hating a person. You have to be exposed to that. You have to be introduced to that to think it's okay. And then to go that step further, as someone is telling you, hey, that charger didn't even do that. And you're like, nah, what I said is how it goes. And then finding out that this statement isn't what it is, and again, I don't know the specifics of the woman who lied. I am not aware if she's black or white. I've heard a lot of different rumors, but we won't speculate on that for the safety of also her. But that's another conversation. The easiness to lie like that, to want to save yourself and be okay with all of this narrative that followed Kyren all the way into the day he died. That he truly, like you said, saw no light at the end of the tunnel. Even he knew. Like, I could only imagine the mental capacity of feeling gaslit. Like, I'm telling everyone I did not do this. Mm-hmm. And the only people that really believe me is my family, my attorney, and myself. And now I'm questioning every day, like, did I actually do that? Like, knowing you didn't. So it's sad. I mean, the Louisiana Police Department, the DA's office, it's about to be something. Like you said, it has to be bigger than what it is now. There's no way we go back and say, oh, well, no. We have real evidence that there are some crazy things that were happening in this entire situation. And the death of someone, not just one, but two people now, is about this situation, because there is probable cause that because of this, it did kill Kyren Lacy. That's what it did. That burden made him not want to be here anymore. Mm-hmm. And somebody has to be held accountable for that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. Lies, false reports, reckless investigation has cost Kyren his life. I don't think there's any argument in that. You talked earlier about due diligence when it comes to creators, when it comes to media, when it comes to reporters. What level do you feel like they should be held accountable? Obviously, it's hard to charge the internet or charge media when it in any type of involvement. It's that's just not a I think a possibility in this case, because you have so many people. I think it would be a different story if you have like Stephen A, and not to name names or anything, but just somebody who's a very well-known figure, consistently speaking on the topic, consistently dragging somebody's name. Not saying that Stephen A is that person, but like I said, just using him as an example. But you have so many people across the internet. Like I said, what level do you think they should be held accountable, and what can we do as consumers to make sure that they're held accountable?
It's hard because I think we've seen so many instances with content creators or people who use social as a platform, jump too soon to speak on things and like their personal feelings, and like we've never seen anything actually happen to them. It's like a moment of like, how dare you, and then like they're still getting the followers, they're still getting the views and all these things. I do like the question of consumers. And I think it's understanding that you have the choice to watch that creator. And we talked about it a little bit earlier, the block button, the not being accessible to what is happening with certain creators. And I would urge, the chat especially, like, follow people that you believe that they want to tell the truth. And follow people that you also believe are not trying to tell you what they think. They're just trying to let you know of the situation. They are trying to report it as it is. They're not trying to sit there and say, well, that person deserved it, and oh, this doesn't surprise me. No, they're just telling you, hey, this is what is now news. We're here to tell you about this news. We will have more updates. That is the job. But when you sit there and you start putting your own feelings, and then you have to retract that later because it was stupid of you to do that. And then it's like, oh, well, hey, donate to the cause. Well, no, you said something that was damaging. You played a part in why this person at that time felt like they couldn't live it anymore. That they didn't even think, oh, no one believes me. It doesn't matter. Like, I think I would urge consumers, viewers, understand what you're watching. Understand that every person who creates content is not there to tell the truth. They don't care all the time about the humanity of a story. All they care about is giving you what they think because they want views so they can make more money. So I would tell you, be very persistent and diligent in that. Follow creators that, okay, they're just telling me the news. There are things that you could give opinion on. There are things that you can interject how you feel. But with things like this, you can't do that. Absolutely. You can only report it as it is. People's lives are lost in a story like this. We can sit there and say it's corrupt because we just witnessed it, right? That's an assessment of what we actually saw. But I would urge viewers, do your due diligence of who you're following, because it's looking like the blind leading the blind. And then you see these half-hearted apologies that at this point don't even matter. You just don't want to look like you're a villain, but you are.
Right. Yeah. You have people out there trying to do their own investigative journalism, piecing two things together that aren't necessarily true, and then look where it leads. Like Lachelle said, be careful who you follow. Not everybody is reputable. Not everybody is out there with the best intentions. I'm not going to sit here and name any names, but I think we've dropped a few hints as to who some of those creators might be. If you're online, you might know who we're referring to. But it's a heavy topic, and I want to leave it there. Justice for Kyren. This case is simply not coming to an end anytime soon, and I'm sure we'll be continuing to talk about it in the future on this show, on our platforms, and just everyday conversation, because this is one that carries a lot of weight. On that note, we're going to go ahead and transition into some WNBA talk, because we just witnessed game 2 of the finals. I want to go back and recap game 1 since it happened earlier in the week. We haven't had a chance to walk through that. Lachelle, I want your initial reaction from game 1, takeaways, thoughts, what you wanted to see going into game 2, and then give me your game 2 breakdown. How are you feeling right now? Aces are up.
They are. They look really good. Game 1 impressed me. I got scared in the 4th because Phoenix likes to walk people down. And if AT doesn't miss both those free throws, might be talking about a different situation. I think before game 1, I even made a video saying the bench for the Aces is going to be their thing. And I specifically said Dana Evans. She goes out there, gives you 21 points. Jewel Lloyd gives you like 18 off the bench and did exactly that. Yep. I still want to see Kia Stokes. They threw her out there in that last possession in game 1, and she really probably makes like the play of the game, because her switching on to Ka stopped what they were trying to do, which was give the ball back to her. So like, I want to see more Kia, but I like this bench. I like what they did in game 1. Game 2, they had their foot on that gas. I said, oh, they have, I hate to say it, I think the Aces have figured it out. And I think Phoenix might have found a team that will not be punked by their physicality. There was few people. It was a lot going on in game 2, but a part of me was like, whoa, this might be different. And you kind of saw the difference in Phoenix now in game 2. You kind of saw almost like when the fighter finally hit you back and you wasn't expecting that. And it's like, oh, wait, that's how game 2 felt for me. The Aces looked very dominating, especially in that 4th quarter. Bench is still playing great. Jackie Young, my gosh. Man, it's looking good. It's looking good for them.
It is. I was curious. I wanted to hear your thoughts on the bench rotation in game 1, because like you said, you mentioned in your take and then in the show last week that you wanted to see more from Becky. So I wanted to hear if you felt like you were satisfied seeing what you saw in game 1, or if you're looking for a little bit more. It sounds like you're looking for a little bit more because you want to see more Kia Stokes.
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, just a little bit more Kia. I love Dana Evans out there. I love Jewel Lloyd out there. I think they're playing great. And maybe Becky feels like, what they have in their rotation is good. No need to change it now. But I would love to see Kia Stokes out there. I think defensively it gives them more of a presence for them. But I mean, game 2, they're manning the ship. So like I shouldn't complain because like they're doing exactly what they're trying to do. But I'm happy Becky is going onto the bench. I'm glad. Maybe she hurt me.
No, the bench made a difference in that first game. You had a total of 41 points from their reserves. When it came to game 2 tonight or earlier today, Jackie Young, you mentioned she went off. Third quarter was crazy for her, 21 points. Man, oh man, she ended the game with, I believe, 32. And then Asia, of course, Asia's going to carry this team no matter what. And she's a 4-time MVP for a reason. She had 28, I believe, on the night and double-double. 15 rebounds, I want to say.
Hooping. They was hooping.
Hooping. With them being up 2-0, do you think the Aces have us in the bag? This is a best-of-7 series, so we have a handful of games left. But what are your thoughts?
I don't want to disrespect Phoenix because I think they're a team that thrives with being doubted. So I don't think they're panicking. If anything, I think they'll win game 3, actually, just because of the pride that I feel like they have. Like, there's just no way we're about to go 3-0 in the first best of 7 in the WNBA Finals. That's embarrassing. The 7 games is for us to have an opportunity. So, it's like, dang, we could have just kept this 5 then. Like, if we weren't gonna do that. But I see them winning game 3. I think the crowd is gonna be into it. They're gonna be energized. I think they understand what they have to do. It is that physicality. It's just not working. It's not working against the Aces. I don't think the Aces are shell-shocked. Game 1, there was a little bit of that. Game 2, I felt the Aces were the aggressor. So now, if you're Phoenix, you got to go back to how you play, which is you being the aggressor. And I expect to see that in game 3. This series probably should end in 5, though. If I believe the Aces are going to continue how they are, I did say 7 before, but I didn't expect this. I thought we would have split a player and then got to game 3, then like all of that. I didn't expect 2-0 by the Aces. I'm like, oh, this might be a bit over quicker than I thought.
And this is a short finals. And back to no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it got out to a hot start. I agree. I don't think anybody, well, I'm not gonna say anybody, but I don't think a lot of us assumed that it would have been a 2-0 2-0 series, going into game 3 with the Aces being up. It was a little bit more of a fight from the Mercury, but like you said, I think the Aces figured it out. So we'll see how this what am I trying to say? How this pans out. Words, man, words. It's hard. Sunday, 6 p.m. I just had my dinner. The itis is hitting. I'm fighting. I'm fighting right now. I'm just kidding.
Fight back.
Somebody in the comments, in the chat, TJ_smooth guy said Jackie could win finals MVP.
100%.
I agree with that. Yeah. I mean, the way that she's been, like I said, the contributions she's made in these first 2 games, if she keeps doing the same thing in the rest of this series, yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, y'all. We'll see what happens in game 3. We got that coming up on, what day is that? Let's see.
Is it
Everybody
Tuesday?
can tune in.
Or Wednesday?
Yeah.
I feel like it's Wednesday.
Let me make sure y'all know. We got next game on. Internet's not helpful. Wednesday. Wednesday. Yep, Wednesday.
Cool.
Back in Phoenix.
They're going to be jumping. Phoenix is going to be lit. They're going to be lit. They're going to be lit. They're going to have some energy.
Chat, if anybody goes out there to see that game, let us know how it is.
Yes, please.
We want to hear firsthand reaction, firsthand analysis, what the atmosphere is like out there in the desert. We're going to go ahead and transition into some NBA talk. Surprise, surprise. We are right around the corner from NBA season kicking off. I can't believe we're talking about it again. I feel like we started our season talking about the NBA, and it's like, it's back.
We're back.
It just ended. It just ended. I feel like we were just talking about the Pacers and OKC in the finals. And yeah, here we are. NBA season is back. Media Day has given us a little bit of a first look at some off-season transformations. Fans have been pretty quick to point out some noticeable body changes, some sparking concerns, others hyping players up. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to play a little bit of a game. For our YouTube folks, we're going to show you some before and after shots. We're going to break down the reactions here on Twitch and decide, are people overreacting or underreacting?
I'm dramatic, so I might overreact to everything.
Okay. That's okay. Hey, we welcome all opinions over here. Chat, I want y'all to join in on this as well, because we've got 4 players that we're going to go through. Like I said, our YouTube folks will get some visuals, but when chat, we encourage you to look up the differences, because some of these players, there's some stark differences. We're going to start with AD, Anthony Davis. He got to Dallas and he got noticeably bigger. Fans on social media were pretty quick to point out that Texas barbecue might be doing a number on him. And it's funny because of, the irony of Luka and them saying that he was overweight and then sending him away and, all of that. AD did comment on the fact that he wanted to bulk up a bit because he typically loses weight as the season goes on. He says he typically drops around 10 to 12 pounds, which, for a guy, I think it's pretty normal. And especially if you're, pretty active, then that seems about right. I just don't know if we've ever seen him put on this much weight before a season. He says he does this pretty regularly. We haven't seen a difference quite this stark. Like I said, the name of the game is overreact, underreact. Lachelle, overreaction or underreaction?
I'm going to overreact for the simple fact that he's in Dallas. If he was anywhere else, I would underreact. But I think just for the sake of how funny it is and the irony of it, I'm going to just overreact.
I'm going to say overreact too. I feel like the weight thing isn't so much of an issue because for his positions, like bigger body, you're better in the paint. He's being proactive. So, if the whole weight loss concern during the season is a thing, then like he's really just doing his job. So yeah, I would say overreaction. Chat, let us know what you think. Overreaction, underreaction. We're going to go ahead and move to Zion because the rumor is out saying this man, he might be on a little Ozempic, a little Wegovy, a little Manjaro. I'm just kidding.
What?
But I'm just, I'm playing. He looks skinny is what I'm trying to say. He looks skinny. We got skinny Zion.
He is skinny.
He looks very small. Some reports say he's lost about 40 pounds. Fans are saying it's looking scary for the Pelicans. I want to know. Overreaction, underreaction.
Oh, crap. 40? I didn't know it was 40. I know he's skinny, but I didn't. Dang.
I will say visually, he looks smaller than he did in school.
Yeah, he definitely does. Dang. Should I overreact to this or underreact? Chat. Oh, part of me wants to underreact because I actually don't care if you're not healthy. So I'm gonna stick with that. I'm gonna underreact because none of this matters if you're not going to be healthy enough throughout a season. So I'm not proud of him. Glad that he's lost this weight that everyone's wanted him to lose. But I'm gonna underreact because again, you lose all this weight, and if you can't actually stay healthy for a season or towards the end of the season when you try to make a playoff push, losing that weight doesn't matter.
I agree with you. I'm underreacting for similar yet different reasons. I'm underreacting, one, because we have been, not we, but at the same time, the internet has kind of been bullying him a little bit into, I hate the word bullying. Let me rephrase how I'm going to say this because I don't want anybody to take
they were. I mean, I think it's in his contract that he has to be a certain weight. So like they were bullying him.
There's a push.
We weren't, chat.
We weren't, no, because like I said, I don't want to I want it taken out of context. But there was a push by a lot of people that he should be smaller, and that is just the expectation that it was had, and the fact that he was coming back season after season looking the same, dealing with the same issues. He just met an expectation. And like I said, I think it's an underreaction from that standpoint. I'm happy that he dropped that weight because I do think that him being lighter will help prevent injuries. Again, we don't know. He's he could just be an injury prone guy. But I do think that weight probably did have an impact on how much we did see him out. Him dropping that weight, I feel like we'll see, a little bit more explosiveness from him. he's saying that he hasn't felt this good since he was in college. I am curious, like I said, because he does look smaller than he did in school. It's like, are we going to see the same physicality, the same explosiveness that we saw from him at Duke? Is this going to be a different version of Zion that we've never seen before? Or are we going to get the same type of Zion that we've been seeing the past couple of years? Who knows? But I say underreaction, like I said, for my reasons. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next player, and that is Joel Embiid. Fans have caught him looking a bit frail in the offseason. He's reportedly lost about 25 to 30 pounds. Embiid has said that there's been several reasons for his weight loss, including improving his health and mobility, reducing the risk of injuries, and enhancing his performance on the court. Chat, the show. What do you think? Overreaction? Underreaction?
I'll overreact to it for the simple fact I had read the article on ESPN about him talking about his injuries, which was like a really good profile. Him losing the weight is a big deal. And I think for his injuries, especially that knee, I don't think people understand how bad his knee injury was and may still be. It's crazy when you have old teammates saying like they would look at his knee and be like, how are you even out here? And like you just said, even with Zion, like losing the weight, we would assume helps what's going on with those injuries. I'll overreact to it because I know Philly fans really, 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 really need him to be healthy. So, but the frail, that is interesting. Him being frail because like you're banging in the post, you got to have some muscle. You got to have some meat, right? But
right.
I guess for him, I don't know. I'm going to overreact. I'll overreact for the sake of it for Philly fans. Like, Joel, he's out here on his skinny thing. Everybody trying to get skinny. I know that's right.
It's the trend,
Hey.
At first it was skinny back in the day, and then we got curvy, and then we got to skinny, and here we are.
Everybody's
slim down a bit. Everybody's trying to slim down. I'm gonna say overreaction. I do feel like this could go one of two ways. I think it could make him a little bit more agile, it can make him quicker, but I also think that it could affect his strength. I think it could affect his rebounding abilities. So I don't want to jump too deep into the waters because I feel like we need to see him play first. We're just judging off of pictures, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to say overreaction for that sake, but time will tell. Who knows? Chat, let us know what you think on that one. We're getting to our last player, and that's Wemby. We already knew Wemby put on some weight in the 2024 offseason. He reported that he put on another 10 pounds in the 2025 offseason. What are we thinking? Overreaction, underreaction? Is this looking like a different version of Wemby? Should we be concerned? Does the Spurs have a little weapon on their hands now that this man's bigger?
I'm overreacting. I seen the clip of him in the preseason where he just like bullied his way and just like rose up. And I was like, whoa, whoa, this looks a little different. He looks a little bit more violent with this extra 10. For him, especially, that extra 10 probably is exactly what he needed. So he's probably right at where he wants to be now. And I guess big shout out to his team. So I'll overreact to it because I think they've had a very design plan. Like, okay, that first year, we're going to wait. Then we're going to have an offseason. We're going to get you an extra 10. Now, this next offseason, we're going to get you an extra 10. I mean, if you look at Giannis and look at his progress picks from like his rookie year now, like it was a gradual thing. And then we see who we have now. I'm going to overreact to it. Wemby can't be bullied. Got a little extra 10 on him. He looks good though. Like he looks solid. He looks strong. He looks like he ready. And to come back from what blood clots and everything he was dealing with to add an extra 10, I'm gonna overreact to it. He looks ready for the season. Like I'm scared. I'm scared for the league. This man said after the Olympics, he was like, I fear for everybody else. Once this thing comes together, I fear it's coming together.
You make a good point with some health concerns, adding that extra weight. I'm sure that wasn't an easy task for him. I like the comparison to Giannis because, like you said, that was a gradual build. And look, he's the Greek freak now. We weren't calling him the Greek freak back when he got drafted because he was a little skinny thing, So we might have the next. What do we want to call him? France freak? We can't. That doesn't. We need a new nickname. We need a nickname for Wemby aside from Alien. We need something.
I don't like the alien. I really don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
It's not that unique to me. I feel like nicknames back in the day used to be fun. And now it's just kind of like, We're
Yeah.
just gonna give you a word. We need like
Yeah.
a fun little slogan for Wimby, especially if he bulks up. He could, like I said, he could be the next France freak. Somebody needs to shop work that because that's not good. But we'll get there one day. Someone in the chat, this has no relation to our conversation whatsoever, but I'm very flattered by this compliment. Somebody said, I vote Bailey to be the next commish of the W. I don't think I would be good for that.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Bailey, would you want to be the next commissioner of the W?
No. I don't like being in charge of people, really, to be honest with you.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. You know, I was president. I'm going to give you a little story time. I was president of my business fraternity back in the day. And, you know, it was good times, but I learned that I don't really like managing people and don't like being responsible for a large group of people. And it's really stressful. And yeah.
I applaud you that you are aware of what you don't like or don't want to necessarily do. Most people would get into a role and be like, whatever, I'll figure it out when I get there. And you are being honest enough to say, I am not going to object myself to this misery. But secondly, I'm also not going to do it. So then you're upset at me because I didn't do a good job because I didn't want to do this anyway.
Right.
I respect that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It. And appreciate the person in the chat for the compliment. You keep going with the nice words. I'm flattered, but no, I don't want to sign up for that. And anytime a crisis comes the way, somebody else can handle that. I'm not responsible. Speaking of which, we're going to take a slight tangent here because that was pretty big news. Let's debrief here, chat, because Fee had a lot to say and players were quick to chime in and back Fee up, and a lot's happening over there. That's all I gotta say. I know I said in my take, a lockout's coming. I think a lockout was inevitable despite what Fee was going to say, and I don't know if this is really a direct correlation to, like, her statement would be a direct correlation to a lockout. But it's just in the sense that things are getting pretty messy with just how the players view leadership. To give you guys some context, and I'm going to reiterate this the best I can because it's been some days now, but Fee had her exit interview in front of the media basically saying that like the WNBA is the worst leadership or run by the worst leadership, calling out Kathy, calling out certain things that Kathy said in conversations between her and Fee at Unrivaled, talking about how Kathy gave Caitlyn a platform. She wouldn't be making the 60 million in endorsements if it wasn't for, you know, the platform that she has in the W. Talking about that players should be grateful for the TV rights deal she got them. I'm trying to think, Lachelle, chime in if I'm missing anything in terms of, because there was some stuff
on their knees, thanking their stars.
Here we go.
Yeah, she got that media rights deal.
Yeah. And then her response was maybe as shocking as what Fee said, because it wasn't really much of a response to me. It was kind of like, I got caught and I wish she hadn't exposed our conversation, and I don't really care about the players. And then she got on podium and was like, I have a family and I have a life too. Yes, like, yeah, you do, but like, respectfully, we're not concerned about what you got going on your end. Like, your job is to be like, what are you doing for these players? You have these players saying they want XYZ from you. They're unhappy. You're the worst leader that they've seen for this league. This is such a pivotal moment. You're not handling it right. You're not building off the momentum. We don't care about your family right now, Kathy. We don't care about your family right now, Kathy. We do not care about your feelings right now, Kathy. Come on now. Somebody said Kathy didn't even deny the claims. Exactly.
He said there's inaccuracies in how Fee said then what did she say? She goes, they ask her again, and I think she goes, well, obviously I didn't say. And I'm like, stop it. I think what got me was, one, Cat Williams has still not closed that portal ever since that first interview he had with Shannon Sharp. When he sat there, he opened something that has never been closed yet. And then the spirit of Kendrick Lamar is truly roaming around, ready to embody its next person. And it came to Fee. Because if you sit there and you got a written, typed paper, multiple papers that Fee had for a 4-minute opening monologue statement to read out, and you hit us with the biggest news, that being, oh, let me tell you what she said about Caitlyn. Now, listen, y'all. I love a good strategy. I do. I get happy about it. I like when people are thinking out their attack. Maybe it's the dark side of me, but I appreciate it. That means you care about the result of you winning the war. And Fee made a decision. We're at war. Nobody else can do it. I'm going to go out there and do it. And what should I do best? I'm going to sit there and tell you all what she said about Caitlyn. The one fan base that, if truly used correctly, might could get this thing where we need it to go. Mm-hmm. So let me tell you what she said. And not only said Caitlyn, said Angel, said Paige. That's 3 fan bases and that will truly, they crash out. And when Fee said it, I want y'all to go back and watch it. When she says it, she takes a pause and kind of just looks like, and then continues. The pause was for dramatic effect. Did you hear what I said? What your commissioner said? Okay. Then let me add that she said we should be on our knees, thankful, verbatim. And then to sit there and say it's inaccuracies, Kathy. And what people fail to realize, it's not a race thing, but Fee is mixed. So she can't play the card that she's getting attacked. Fee is also a white woman as well as a black woman. She is both. Because she's mixed race, she's speaking to both sides of it. So you can't even use the card like, well, you're bullying Kathy. She's not. Like, it's just the strategy of it. I applaud Fee.
Phenomenal.
She did all the right things. And like I said, chat, it's not a race thing, but you have to understand, if Asia Wilson did that, I don't know if it gets perceived the same in totality, because I think it's easier for people to manipulate it. Like, oh, this black woman saying that to the white commissioner, it turns into something different. But for Fee, that is using your privilege and also you being a minority in the same conversation, which a lot of people can't do. And to not avoid that and present it as facts, man, then you got Kathy up there talking. They asked her that question and she was like, I have a family. Well, Kathy, we knew that. When she said that, I said, oh, Kathy's done. Whenever they prepped for this conference, they didn't anticipate that one. She lost it. She
went off script.
I have a family. What that got to do with any of this, Kathy?
Right.
Kathy, they said they upset. They said you to work. They ain't got nothing to do with them kids. Like,
leave your family out of this.
Leave them out of it. Like, she said the inaccuracies. And what Fee said, don't worry about that meeting you said we had. We ain't got that no more. You sat up there trying to act like I'm lying. We ain't got to talk to each other. We'll talk at that deadline or this lockout, whichever one you decide.
Whichever comes first. Yeah, it's a mess over there. I just want to know how they feel about breakdancing with her back at WNBA All-Star, because
that was funny.
Friendly anymore.
That was funny though.
She better cherish that moment, because that was the last time the players were messing with her.
Dude, it's over. It's hard for me to believe that she's gonna be the commissioner much longer. It's just,
no.
This is over, and I see a lot of people wanting to get Adam Silver involved because I guess he appointed her as the first W commissioner,
right?
And people feel strongly that he actually now needs to be up for question and kind of needs to step in, because they're calling for her to be done. We've never seen it like this.
Right.
People never talked about David Stern like this. They feared that man. Say what you want about him, Yeah. But if it's one thing we could agree with, the man did love the NBA and he wanted to do whatever even if we agreed with some of his tactics, we still talk about a lot of the initiatives that he had that at least pushed us to where we are now. These players, I've never seen it like this, where they're open and like Sophie Cunningham talking about like, yeah, she horrible. I said, oh.
Yeah.
Wait
They're
a
just
minute.
very boldly expressing how they feel. And yeah, it's something that, like you said, we haven't seen from players in the W specifically. But I agree with the Adam take, and I mentioned that in my take earlier in the week, because he is responsible for Kathy being in the position that she's in right now. What level of involvement does he have at this point? Is he the one that removes her? Does she walk away on her own? What would be the best route when it comes to the optics? I don't know. I think it could be a good, considering Adams is kind of in the OTC right now, it could be a good move for him to be like, okay, Kathy, we're gonna take you and we're gonna
Listen, Adam better
remove you.
pop up.
But
Because they want Kathy gone. I ain't
right.
never seen it like this. This different. Like, it was different. I don't think we've seen it like this in the history of what we've watched in sports. We've seen lockouts.
Yeah.
We've seen that happen. We haven't seen this, where
Right.
this really looks like a reckoning for them.
Mhm.
And Fee truly rode out and lit the enemy's camp up and just rolled on back home. And it's like, oh, well,
Right.
whatever.
You
said I lied? Okay. Like,
yeah.
whatever. Now I don't want to meet with you now. Because that was crazy. When she added that, I said, Kathy, I see what you're doing. Because when she was like, yeah, we texted and we're going to meet, I said, you're a smart one. Because you're trying to make people believe, like, if it's that bad, why are we texting? Why are we conversing for a meeting? And because of that, Fee said, nope. I see what you were trying to do there, Kathy girl. Now we can't meet at all. And now the relationship is beyond repair, as it was reported by people. Like, this is fun. It's not fun for the league.
It's not fun for the league, but it's fun as a consumer of the
I like it. I like
product.
it.
Yeah, it's
I'm
like
all
reality
for it.
TV. It's like reality TV.
I'm all for it. It's
Yeah.
fun. Why not? It's not really that fun because, like, we love the W and we don't want to see a lockout. It really would be stupid for them to have a lockout, but it's obvious that is what it's going to have to come to for them to get what they deserve. And it's not stupid on the players' part. It's more the league.
Yeah.
Like, you've allowed this to go so far that is the next result for them. That's just stupid on the business side. But it's not stupid for the players because it's like, we've sat here and done this over and over and over and over again. And, like, you want us to be grateful for, we earned this. We work for this. Like, yeah, I don't know. I feel for Kathy because I can just imagine what that was like when she got that call. You ever seen that picture where it's George Bush and they whisper into his ear? Somebody put Kathy's face as George Bush and they whisper and it said, Commissioner Nafisa Collier has taken the stage for her exit. Like that it cracked me because that's probably funny. What it was like. She probably was like, "What? What y'all said?" Fee said,
right?
What she said? I said, "Oh no, oh no! You telling me she got me? She got you, girl. She got you.
Yeah, that was her
exit interview. My butt. She said, y'all thought I'm about to talk about us." And also, again, Fee's just smart because if you want to just divert away from the fact that y'all lost and it was disappointing. Let's just talk about this instead.
Right, yeah, exactly.
We got more important things.
Something else for you.
We got more important things, you guys. Right. You got more important things. We don't have to talk about that we lost. No. I'm going to talk about this. I'm telling you. Hey, shout out to them UConn Huskies, man. I don't know what Gino does that makes them stand up and talk about things. But God, it seems like every time we're in a fight of some sort, they're at the forefront. You look at Stewie, you look at Fee. I mean, DT had spoke up before. I mean, Sue Bird, Pay. Like, man, I don't know what y'all can say what y'all want about Gino, but man, he's breeding some people that are ready for the reckoning and the revolution, and they're at the front of it, man.
So UConn talent. Someone in the chat said, excuse me, who would replace her? Well, according to y'all, it's me. No, but to be honest, okay, the round of applause. There you go. Okay, there you go. Okay, so somebody said, "You said what?"
Imagine if you walked up there. Hi, I'm Bailey Jackson. I am the new.
I have not played basketball in 15 years.
Oh my gosh.
I can't say I'm the most qualified to be in this job, but here you got me, youngest commissioner in history. I would
here to do the job, to serve the
job.
people.
Thank you very much. No, but someone in the chat said maybe a former player. We've got Louis in the chat asking if Cheryl Miller should be the commissioner. Give me a quick yay or nay on that. What do you think?
Yes, I think it has to be someone whose direct involvement in the W is for the advancement. So, yes, I think who they have right now wasn't anticipating the growth to be this fast. And in a business model, you don't anticipate it to be this fast. And it sounds like they would rather hinder it to slow it down to their speed. Cheryl Miller would definitely go at the rate. I mean, she spoke, 2 years ago at like Final Four saying that she thought the media rights deal was horrible and that the deal wasn't really looking to the future, it was to the present. And she was like, now you look at the deal and it's scraps to what they're making or should be making. So yes, Cheryl, I've heard Lisa Leslie before. I don't think she would do it because I think she's kind of turned off by how the infrastructure is. But Cheryl, Lisa, I'm trying to think who else. Like, would you want a business person or someone who's played?
Well, and that was my question is like, do you go into it with more of a business minded individual, or do you want somebody that has a perspective of a player who can come in and kind of be more of a players or a commissioner who's for the players, or like, on the flip, somebody that can really come in and like handle the business? Because the issue is the league is growing at a rate that they weren't expecting. So like, realistically speaking, how do you, I don't know. I'm not trying to like negate anybody in the league or who's been out of the league, their experience when it comes to running a business, but maybe you find somebody who's previously done that. Maybe they had a startup that blew up and they're, they know what that exponential growth looks like and how to, manage that. And they come in and they're the ones that take over as commissioner. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. But that's a really, really good question. What type of person do you want ultimately leading this league going forward? Do you want that to be a business-minded individual, or do you want that to be a former player who has, the best interest of the players in mind? Not saying you can't get both, but who's that combination too? There's a lot of questions to be answered there. On that note, we're going to go ahead. So they love us. They love the idea of us being commissioners. Somebody in the chat said you guys can be co-commissioners. Thank you. I appreciate that you guys are on this run right now. I don't know what you.
I would get up there I would just be laughing.
But
I would be laughing at those press conferences because I'd be like how Kathy. I probably would have got up there and been like, "Look, man, I said it. I'm sorry. Maybe like I said it. Like, because Kathy, God bless Kathy. She said, I have a family. I said, oh, no. I'm so sorry. I want to know who's on that board. We should look that up next time. Who's on their board and like who's under the commissioner? Who's in these meetings that we got to figure that out. We need to do a deep dive, Chad. That's what we got to go on the search. Maybe we need to start interviewing people for commissioner.
Looks like we've got, I'm looking it up really quickly. The only thing I'm seeing right now, and we do need to do a deep dive on this to get a more accurate answer, but there's league operations, Bethany Donovan. So it's the SVP head of WNBA league operations, who looks like a direct report into Kathy. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of other individuals, but who knows? We'll look into that. We'll get back to you on that, chat. We're gonna go ahead and get back into our planned out show. We took a little bit of a segue, but that was needed. We needed to go through that because that was some heat earlier this week. But I want to get into some NFL talk really quickly because my Colts are doing so well right now. My Colts are doing so well. Are the Colts a legit playoff team? This is a very genuine question. I feel like Daniel Jones right now, he's playing really good football, which is surprising because Daniel Jones has been very average a vast majority of his career. But I do think that him and Shane Steichen's offense is a really, really good match. I know some people are going as far to say that he could potentially be comeback player of the year. I don't know about that, but we've seen 2 back-to-back games of Daniel Jones looking really, really good. I'm optimistic that he can carry this into the rest of the season. There's still a little bit of a question mark there, But given what they've got going on right now, I think this is a playoff team. What do you
I
think,
see it.
Michelle? All right.
I see it. I mean, confidence in the NFL is everything. I feel like when teams have that confidence that they could win games and win games consistently, it does carry over. And I mean, we just can't ignore it, right? I get it because I'm not like on the Daniel Jones bandwagon. I was the first person to say that contract that the Giants gave didn't make any sense to me. But out of respect from what we're seeing, like we can't ignore that this is really good and it doesn't feel like a fluke. It feels real. The scheme feels real. What this team looks like on both sides of the ball looks real. I mean, the energy around them seems a little bit different. So I think so. I mean, I like what I'm seeing. I have to give respect to the Colts. I don't think any of us anticipated this, Bailey
No.
included.
Bailey included. I will admit, I did not see this coming. I was a Daniel Jones hater from day one. Day one. And I will admit I was wrong about him. But I had good reason to believe that he wasn't going to be the man who he is right now because of
Sure.
what we've seen from him in the past. You have to rely on history sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And history told me that this was not going to be a great season. But like I said, this is a match made in heaven when it comes to Daniel Jones and this Colts offensive scheme. They've got a really, really good situation going on right now. I'm curious to hear from Colts players, what the atmosphere is like in the locker room because morale's got to be up. I'm sure this is
They should be lit.
they should be. We're going to have Nick Cross on in a few weeks, Colts safety. I know he's very eager and excited to come on the show. He's been,
Last time when he got upset because he said he's been trying to get on and
yeah.
and you were like, I asked you and you said you were busy that day. And he was like, what? No, I wasn't.
Nick is always going to downplay stuff. But yeah, he's very, very excited to come on. He's been asking for a very long time. And he's having a really good season. Nick is actually up for a big contract. So interested to get his perspective on just kind of how everything's panning out, kind of what's next for him in his career. But we'll keep you posted on when we have Nick on. It will, like I said, be here soon. I also want to talk about fantasy football because I had a conversation with a girl earlier this week. One of my friends, she said that her fantasy team is cooked because Lamar Jackson is her QB and he's out. And she was asking who should she pick up? And, it got me thinking that this would be a really good segment for the show because I'm sure some of y'all watching are in the same position where you're, maybe your wide receiver, your running back, your quarterback could be out. In this case, we're going to focus on quarterbacks. Okay. Lachelle, I want you to give me your expert take. Let's say you're in a fantasy league and the QB options on the board are pretty thin. You have some names who are gone, expect kind of your like bigger stars to be out. Who are 3 quarterbacks you recommend that are probably still available? Guys that might be a little slept on right now, but are quietly balling or have put up solid fantasy numbers and, like I said, could just be kind of flying under the radar.
If he was available, probably Spencer Rattler. I know people look at the Saints and they're like, oh, they're not that good, but like he's actually playing really well. Like their losses aren't really his fault. I could see him being available that people probably kind of looked over. Dang, I'm trying to think of like the bag ups because I don't think anyone thought Lamar was going to be hurt or Joe was going to be hurt.
Yeah.
And then JJ was going to be hurt. I don't think we all anticipated that.
Right.
I would probably lean into Spencer Rattler. I'm trying to think if you're in a 15-person league, almost everybody's gone at that point. At that point, everyone's probably released Bryce Young because I have Bryce Young on mine and he's getting released on Wednesday. It's time. It's time. Time.
I held on to that a little too long.
Yeah. I've seen enough. Oh man. If you're in a 15,
like, half of the quarterbacks are taken. Right.
Yeah.
Do you start thinking about backups? Do you think about maybe like a Dylan Gabriel? Do you think about a Jackson Dart? Do you think about, obviously those are some rookies, so maybe even some like backups. Where is your head going there? I said, and this is maybe not a realistic, like I feel like a lot of people probably had him in their initial draft when it came to their fantasy league, but I said Dak because in my head, I didn't think Dak was going to be what he is this season. But I like what I've been seeing from him, especially recently with CD being out. It's kind of questionable as to like what, we would potentially get from, Cowboys offense, but he's been balling with Ferguson. Like, him and that tight end, they've been doing some
I would call Dak.
They've been doing some work and he's got George Pickens. Like, I think I think Dak would be a good move.
He's a good cop.
Scott said Baker if you can. I think Baker Mayfield is a great pickup, but I also think that's somebody that's
He's
probably
gone.
off the board. Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Yeah.
Like,
if you got Baker Mayfield,
I gotta get in a smaller
Well,
fantasy.
yeah.
It's too many people. Like, I need to be in a small group so I could pick great quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Because I'm in that situation. I'm in a fantasy like 15 plus, and I'm like it's bad. Like, everybody's team is bad. Like, it's bad. But yeah, if Dak was available, I would definitely take Dak 100%. And if Baker was available, I would take Baker.
Yeah.
Who else would be available? Because I'm not taking no backups for real, unless I really feel like they're starting for the rest. Like, Jackson Dart's not bad. Like, I'd probably, if that's like available, it's not bad.
Yeah.
He's probably gonna start for the rest of the season.
Yeah. I would have to look at the list because I can't think of backups off the top of my head. But someone in the chat said you really got to pick a QB wide receiver duo. That definitely hinges on the success of
Facts.
in the fantasy.
You have to.
For sure.
You have to. That's a fact.
But there's a lot of strategy.
I got Justin Jefferson right now, and
yeah.
Mm-mm.
I mean, and to this person's point, you got to have a QB wide receiver duo because, I mean, is the Carson Wentz, Justin Jefferson connection there? Is the JJ McCarthy, Justin Jefferson connection there? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Jettas is always going to be a baller no matter what, but it's just like you have to have a QB that
facts
is going to help you out there. Yeah, like I said, it's a fun game to play. You never know when you're in a position with fantasy league. Things happen every single week that's going to mess it up. And like this friend of mine had the question, we wanted to pose the question for y'all. We wanted to see if you were in a similar boat, what would you do? We got our answers. You got yours. We're going to go ahead and move on to our favorite segment of the night. And in chat, I'm going to go ahead and check your submissions real quickly while Lachelle goes ahead and kicks it off because you guys are active.
Very.
Oh, we got some good ones. So
yeah, I'm scared for a few of these. One of them, like, y'all were very bold, and y'all know the rule. We put out the submissions. We're there for you to submit your hot take, your question, your opinion, and then we're going to talk about it on the show, which we have a lot because, again, y'all are scary. Y'all don't like to call on the phone, but you love to type a submission. We applaud that, I guess, the effort. We appreciate it. So now we're going to go through it. And a few of these I am scared of. I'm not going to lie. Because some of y'all were feeling bold. Number one, Aaron Glenn is not the problem with the Jets. I do agree. I don't think Aaron Glenn is the problem. It's a personnel situation.
I think it's when you say personnel, like other people in the coaching staff, correct?
Maybe not the coaching staff in terms of personnel, as in, I think for the style he wants to play on both sides of the ball, there might be missing pieces. And maybe more so defensively. I don't think the offense is as big as an issue as people think. Mm-hmm. I think there are a few things that I think he would change going into the offseason.
Okay. I think their defense is a problem. That was my answer to that. They struggle when it comes to depth. They struggle when it comes to just poor tackling. They just got to get a lot of things handled over there. See, chat. Oh, chat. I thought you had something for us. But yeah, I don't think Aaron Glenn's the issue. Someone said the Jets are just cursed at this point. They might be.
I can see that. I can see that.
I can see it.
Okay. We agree that Aaron Glenn is not the problem. That's what I got from that. Aaron Glenn's okay with us.
We are good with Aaron.
Now, this second one, y'all must got some against coaches. Like, are y'all losing money on these teams or something? It's feeling personal. This says Jim Harbaugh should be on the hot seat, and it should be really, really, really hot.
Yeah, somebody felt a type of way. I'm curious to know why, because I'm looking at the Chargers and I'm like, I don't think they're not doing bad. This is
maybe they meant John.
Team.
I feel like maybe they meant John. It couldn't have been Jim. Maybe they meant John.
I'm gonna go back and double check, but I'm pretty sure I saw Jim.
I read Jim,
and I see Jim in that person's submission. So
we should probably ask them. Did you mean
Jim or John? I don't know. It's hard to misspell John.
It is. I mean, maybe you get the brothers confused.
That's true.
Because John's on the hot seat. He's on the hot seat. The Ravens head coach, John, he's not Jim. Jim's not on
Jim Chargers, John Ravens. So
there we go.
Clear. If you meant John, different conversation. We might agree with you. If you meant Jim, I think we both disagree with you because I don't think that there's any reason to believe that he is. But
it's not Jim.
Considering how strongly you said really, really hot seat. I'm confused. So maybe it is John. I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna say if it's John, yes. John's on the hot seat. Jim, no.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe that's it. Maybe they'll tell us what they really meant.
Hopefully whoever submitted that, hopefully they can come in the chat and let us know. But we'll
and it's okay because we get confused with people all the time. So we're not shaming you because Jim and John, I get confused sometimes because it's very close. So it's okay if you're like, no, I actually meant John. We're with you. We understand.
That's fair. You have two hardballs in the league. They both have J names. They look exactly the same. Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. We'll handle this offline. Whoever that person is, check my Instagram story because I'm going to post your question and I'm going to ask for more clarity and we'll
you should put pictures. You should put pictures of Jim and John. Jim, John. Which one did you
Which one? Yeah, that's what we're going to do that. We're going to hopefully find an answer to this question. All right. What do we got?
We got you. Ryan Williams, the wide receiver for Alabama, is a top 10 draft pick. No, he is not. Not right now. I haven't seen enough this season. He's regressed a little bit, dropping a lot of footballs out there. And as a receiver, that is a big deal. As of right now, no. That could change next year, though. He will be a junior next year. He is now officially 18. He was 17 last year. But no, not right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think for what we've seen from him this season, I haven't been very impressed. I know he was rated really high, especially coming into Bama and even after last season that, the odds of him being a top 10 draft pick definitely looked really good. But yeah, like I said, he's regressed a bit this season. I'm not as impressed. He's got, some time left though to change our minds, but right now I can't agree with that take.
Yeah, we'll stay on the college football front because it seems like y'all feel very strongly. Mendoza is overrated. You heard that, Bailey? Overrated. With some drafts having him at number 1, this is an extreme mistake. I have not seen one mock draft that had him at number 1. So I need you to send me that.
Okay, I have, and I don't know if I've seen a social media post about it, but I've seen it in some conversation that people do have him being the first overall, and I disagree with that. I love Indiana, I really do, but I think we've gotten a little bit ahead of ourselves. Even the Heisman conversation, him being a part of that, I was quick to be like, I just don't. Hey, I see you in the chat. I'm going to do this for you one time. Hoosiers. Okay, now that we got that out the way. I had to. Somebody in the chat said Hoosiers.
As you're like, no, Mendoza's not a number 1 overall.
Yes. I wish you could see the chat right now. Somebody commented like a little what do they call them? Emoji. And it's I don't even know how to describe this. Hold on. I don't know how to describe this, but it's funny. And it really just sums up exactly what you said. Yeah. Hoosiers. But no, he's not a first round. He's the first pick of the draft. Nope. Unless he does amazing things the rest of the season. Not to say he's been playing bad. He's been playing well, but he would have to turn into like a crazy. He would have to turn it into Johnny Manziel minus all the bad stuff that happened in Johnny's time at A&M.
That's a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a lot.
Exactly. That's my take. But it's still Hoosiers.
Chat, you heard Bailey. We'll just go with her Indiana expertise and her war cry. Now, chat, I don't know who put this, but like I'm starting to feel like y'all are going through a sense of like exhaustion in the world per se. Some of these takes are a little aggressive. They're not just high. I feel like I hear the bass in your voice when you are typing this. Man or woman, it feels very personal. This person said to us, I am truly sick and tired of Stephen A. Smith acting as if he is the voice of Black America or even Black people. I'm gonna just be honest. I think he is a person that truly believes in his intelligence and his intellect and his thought process about the world and how he views politics and race and whatever that is. He has a lot of confidence in that. I don't know if I would say he speaks for Black people. I think he speaks for him, that he just so happens to also be a Black man and speaks on a lot of things very passionately that maybe Black America would disagree with strongly. We're not sick and tired of him. He's done nothing to us. We don't know him personally, so that is what it is. But I can understand the perspective of someone, and in this case, this person being sick and tired.
Yeah, you said it really well. I will say that this submission came from a very anonymous account. No profile picture. The username was like just letters. So whoever submitted this, they did not want to be known. They wanted no affiliation to their take, which makes sense why it's so bold. I'm just gonna put that out there for context.
I feel like we're getting into real chat. I'm gonna just be honest. I feel like we're getting into scary territory where y'all might start sending us things and tips and things to break on the show, and we're not gonna know who it's coming from. Now, that's scary because whoever you meant it, you meant what you typed to us.
Yeah,
and I hope whatever happens that you can heal that, because or not, I sometimes a little bit of hate just goes a long way for some people when it comes to certain things. Like, as long as you do nothing reckless, it is okay for you to have an opinion that maybe you're not the biggest fan, that you are truly sick and tired.
Tired and sick.
Hope you run into him so you could tell him that.
Yeah, you can express your opinion in person. Right. Yeah. Somebody in the chat said,
what can we say? What can we do?
Right. Yeah, we don't know the guy. I've run into him once and had a singular conversation. It's not like I can call him up and be like, hey, Stephen A., this is what this person feels, and how do you feel about it? And what do you want to say about it? But you know what you can do, not to promote anything, but you can go watch his show and submit, I think, things on there. It's for him to react to. So
be bold.
Be bold. Be loud and proud.
Yeah. Sick and tired of it. You sick and tired of it.
What do we got next?
What's with y'all in the Chargers, man? Chargers are trash. They always be overrated. What's the problem? Why we acting like they lost a whole bunch of games?
Maybe this is another person who's confusing Jim and John. Because I don't understand either. They're doing well. What do you want from them? I don't think they're overrated.
I think Jim and John is whooping y'all. I think it's whooping y'all. What is it? What's that word that whoops everybody? Is it there and there or a and an? No, I think it's there and there.
There's because you can have like there as in THEIR, you can have there as in THERE, or you can have they are, which is an apostrophe. I don't know. This might be one of those situations where people are getting confused. I can't agree with you on this one. I know who submitted this as well. I'm not going to call you out by name, but
they be overrated. You meant it. Whoever sent it, they meant it. They be. Once you don't use correct English sentence structure, they be. Like, that's how I be. Man, they be. Like, you for real mean it when you typed it.
So somebody needs to clip it. I'm going to send it to that person.
They be. We respect it, though. Like, we not here to change y'all minds. We really not. Like, you think they overrated? They overrated. Hey, who are we to debate you? We might be confused, but we respect you. That's all that matters.
We do respect you. We do. All right. What's our last one? Last one of the night.
All right. Pacers will be a top 4 team in the East. Not without Tyrese Halliburton, they won't.
Yeah, I find that hard to believe. I mean, they have a great roster. That was a big reason why they went so far in the finals or just playoffs in general, is because they were able to rotate their guys and they have a lot of depth. But I don't know what this team is without Tyrese, to be honest with you. And then Miles Turner's gone. Yeah, I can't see them being that's yeah, no, I can't see
It's gonna
them
be hard.
for a
It's
team.
gonna be hard.
Because you still got Pistons look good this year. You got I'm trying to think in all of
Cavs
the
are
East, because I'm even just thinking more of like divisional. The Cavs look good. I don't know if I like what the Bucks probably will do this year.
New York won't look bad either.
Yeah, the Knicks will look good. I'm trying to think who in the East. No.
It's gonna be hard.
They'll be like probably mid. They'll probably be
Yeah.
7-8, I would assume. I think that's probably what they'll finish. Someone said TJ McConnell is an MVP season loading. No, I don't agree with that. TJ
Y'all say
McConnell,
anything. Y'all say anything, and sometimes
TJ
it
McConnell
upsets me.
has his moments, but he's not consistent. And you need to be consistent if you're gonna have an MVP season.
You're not gonna rage bait me. Not today.
Maybe
You won't
tomorrow.
get me.
Not today.
Hey, another day you might get me.
They said I'm sorry. It's not that deep. It's okay. It's okay, guys. It's okay. On that note, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We do have actually one more take in the chat. Somebody said Bills are finally going to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs this year.
Chiefs don't look good, so
Yeah.
I'm actually okay with that take.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Chiefs don't look great. So I'm also on that train. We appreciate that submission. And of course, we appreciate all of your submissions. We will continue to look forward to this segment every week. You guys have been leaving some heat. You've been leaving some heat. It is getting a little scary. Someone in the chat said, "Don't worry, Lachelle." But it is getting a little scary.
I'm scared.
Y'all
I'm
are getting
scared.
bold. Y'all are getting bold, but we love it. That's what the show is for. We want to hear the bold takes. We provide some bold takes. We want to hear from you, so we appreciate it, like I said. And we want to thank y'all for joining us again for another episode of Off the Record. We want to let you get to your NFL game. We know it's about that time. Sunday night football music queuing up in the background. But we're live on Twitch every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern. Math. 4 p.m. Pacific time.
There we go. It's hard. Numbers are hard. Numbers are hard, you guys.
Numbers are hard. We changed the time of the show so you could watch football too. That's the other thing. We're trying to be courteous of your time. But we want to make sure that we're a part of your time as well. On that note, if you miss anything on Twitch, you know where you can find us. It's YouTube. And we have every episode posted at 5 p.m. Eastern time, 3 p.m. Pacific. On that note, we're out. We'll catch you next week.